Hello guys and welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Once again, I'm Greg and this is the Starting 11 show. I'll give you a bit of injury news and we'll try and come to a conclusion of the team Carlo Ancelotti will line up with against Burnley. He's becoming a thorn in my side, Ancelotti. He's so painfully pragmatic. If you look at Marco Silva's reign when I used to do these videos, it was pretty much like clockwork for me. I could say it's going to be this same group of players stinking the place out week in, week out. Not much change despite the kind of game we had, the type of opposition we were facing. He was very stuck in his ways, very dogmatic, Marco Silva. On the flip side, if there's a formation to be played, a role for a player to explore, Ancelotti's been through it in his career. He's been there, he's done it, he's tried it all. So he knows he can be pretty safe in applying these different formations and different styles to the players in our squad. And it's sort of at his mercy. I look at the team and I think he could do anything here. The change of shapes week in, week out, personally I think it's great. I'd much rather see it from a fan's perspective. I'd much rather see it in a sort of adapting to who we're playing than, painfully just putting the same group of players out, the same cohort in the same shape to get, battered week in, week out to become predictable. Big criticism of Roberto Martinez, really, wasn't it? The system that he brought in worked fantastically to start with, where the centre-backs would part a little bit. And defensively, it worked because it was sort of new, and then he never changed it. It got stale. People understood what was going on. And defensively, we just started hemorrhaging goals towards the end, and that was sort of spelled the downfall. So hopefully with Ancelotti, he can just keep keeping things fresh. I think that's a great thing. It's very unpredictable. He's quite coy with the media in that fashion as well. He doesn't really give away anything, and neither should he. He doesn't have to. It's media duties. A lot of managers take these days as just go and tell them everything. But I like that Ancelotti's got that sort of old school, I'll tell you what I want you to know about him. Anyway, I've gone well off topic. In terms of injury news, Gylfi, Sigurdsson and Olsen are going to be assessed last minute, so I'm going to not include them here, just to be safe, be on the safe side. Gylfi Sigurdsson could come into the team if he's fit. I think with Olsen, whilst there's any sort of question, keep Pickford in. Of course, those two vie for the position, but if one of them's slightly less fit, then obviously go with Pickford, who's in a decent sort of form at the moment. Penalty against Chelsea wasn't great. Mina back, Tom Davies back, Seamus Coleman back, all very good, but James is being allowed to fully recover. I don't know if that's a sort of allusion to the fact that he's been rushed back in the past this season, and that's why these injuries have kept plaguing him. Maybe that's what Ancelotti is saying this time. We're going to let him fully recover, make sure there's absolutely no chance that he gets back onto that injury table anytime soon. The big kicker, Abdoulaye Doucouré, fracture on his foot, going to be out for possibly 8 to 10 weeks. That's going to be a huge loss for us for the rest of the season. He's been so crucial. His mobility is what we were crying out in midfield for last season, because he does so much work defensively, but he's also up the pitch in the late minutes of the game. He never stops running, and that we're going to miss big time as the season drags on. He went through that December patch. He went through patches in January and February where the turnaround of games was so quick, and he never looked tired, even though he was playing every minute of every game. It's probably no surprise he did get injured in the end, but going to be a huge miss. And then, of course, our sort of usual absentees of Delph and Gbamin are also out. So what does that look like for the team? I've said Pickford in goal, and of course I'll stick with it. At right back, we've got the Mason Holgate or the Seamus Coleman debate. Holgate's been a little iffy recently, I think it's fair to say. He's not hit the heights that he had at the end of last season, but I'd still keep him in there personally. I think he's got a big future with the club still. In fact, this whole back line's running a bit of a gauntlet, isn't it? End of last season, Mason Holgate was the main man. Beginning of this season, Michael Keane was the main man, I think it's fair to say. Now Godfrey looks like the main man, but Yerry Mina's coming back, and he looks to be sort of strongest out-and-out centre-back. It's very tough. It's very tough to sort of predict who the best back four is, or who Ancelotti will go with, if he even goes with the back four. But I'm going to just put it on the line and say Mason Holgate at right, a centre-back partnership of Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey. I like how they play together. We've seen it a few times, and it's looked good. And it's maybe harsh on Michael Keane because he started the season so well. he's maybe dropped off a little bit, but has still had glimpses of great games. And I think our best back line this season has been when it was the four centre backs. That's the tough thing. But how do you ever take Luca Dean out with what he brings going forward and how well he contributes to us and how we play with Dominic Calvert-Lewin being the man between the sticks? So it's so tough to say with this back line. Please do let me know in the comments, and I say this every week, what you think the strongest back line is, how you'd approach it this time, because it just becomes more of a murky discussion every time because different players stake their claim, and I just don't know the answer. But I'm going to say Mason Holgate, Mina and Godfrey, and then, as I've alluded to, Luca Dean on the left. I think that could be crucial for this game, getting the balls in the box. Just a little bit of creativity to unlock that Burnley team. Centre mids, obviously no Decore, so Alan has to be the first name there. Getting back to the form he was pre-injury. And with Tom back, I'm going to stick him in. I think there was absolutely no, especially with Decore out, I think there's no way we can say he wasn't in the form before the injury to be dropped. If he hadn't been injured, there's a question if him and Alan and who was going to be playing. A lot of people are going to be very angry at that statement, but I think he's pretty good. I think Ancelotti is getting the best out of him, like he got the best out of Calvert-Lewin and Mason Holgate before him. I think he's probably just the next player in this trend of elevating and lifting up the players around the club who've been there for a while, as well as just bringing in quality players like James and Allen. So those two, just in front of them, I'm going to go with Andre Gomez. Gylfi Sigurdsson's out. Bernard sort of stunk the place out, didn't he, when he was playing number 10 in our last game. So it's got to be Andre Gomez. He was there and in that position for our sort of really good run at the start of the season. He'd made that position his for a while until Sigurdsson came in and started disrupting by actually playing quite well. So I'm going to go with him there. And it just gets messier and messier here. I mean, it's a good problem to have because we've got a few good players. Of course, Iwobi could play there, as we know on social media, it is his preferred position. I don't know whether that comment will have annoyed Ancelotti into not picking him. I don't know if Ancelotti will have looked at that and gone, right, well, I'll put you number 10 for a game. Appease you. If you're good, great. This was productive. Obviously, going on social media wasn't the productive way of bringing it out. Iwobi should have just gone and talked to Ancelotti. But, if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, then Iwobi can just shut up and go back to where he was. But it airs the grievance, doesn't it? But I'm going to go with Andre Gomez for now. On the right, I'm going to go with Josh King. He's quite a physical presence. I do like the cameo roles I've seen of him, but it's not enough. It's not enough yet for me to say him over Iwobi. I'm going to give him that chance now to stake that claim. Of course, Calvert-Lewin up front and Richarlison on the left. That could go a lot of different ways though. So please let me know how you would line your team up. This is how it's going to look for me. Pickford, a back line of Holgate, Mina, Godfrey and Luca Dean. Alan and Tom Davies with Andre Gomez just in front and a front line of King, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Do you think that's got enough to unlock that sort of tough Burnley exterior? Do you think we can get through? Do you think we're going to create enough opportunities here? I don't know. Personally. I think Yerry Mina is going to be big for this game by sort of silencing the issues Burnley would cause us. So it's definitely good to have him back in the team and his sort of heading prowess. Let me know, guys. What would your team be? Let's hope for a good result, and I will see you next time.